So we have with us today Abhishek. Abhishek Warakar is the front-end lead at Devfolio, and he's been he's the person behind all the front-end magic that you see on screen. And also we also have Prateek with us. Prateek is also part of the front-end core team, and he has been quite involved in building all the linking all everything together to make Devfolio what it is. And they've been long time contributors to open source, mainly in React front end, other front end technologies. Um, and yeah, I'd really like to check out uh, what the repos for this time, the opportunities for contributions to the repos. So I'll let them take it from here. So first up, I think we'll have Abhishek, who can start off with the first repo for the day. So
Yes.
Abhishek, you can take the stage.
Yes. Thank you so much, Denver, for that really warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. So, as you might have read in the blog, that we have a total of 4 repos that are participating for the Hacktoberfest this year. And to quickly set an agenda for this call, Prateek and I will be giving you a quick overview of each one of those repos. And then subsequently, we will have a Q&A session in which if you have any questions, just leave them in the chat here. And we'd be more than happy to address any questions that you might have. Those can be, this is a beginner friendly stream. So if you have any basic questions related to any of the issues that you want to take up, feel free to leave them up in the chat and we'd be happy to answer all of them for you. And yeah, lastly, definitely go ahead and check out the article that we have on Hacktoberfest. If you are new to this, it would help you gain a quick understanding of how things work. And it will hopefully help you get up to speed really quickly. To begin with, I'd like to first take up React OTP Input, which is our first repo that we'll be taking a look at. Let me quickly share my screen. All right. Go to the repo page. So this is one of the components that we have open sourced, and it is also something that that we use and is really critical to our registration flow at Devfolio. You might have come across this component when you try to sign up. For example, for giving the quiz, if I hit a sign up here, you will see this input here, which is exactly what we have open sourced. We call it React OTP Input. It helps you enter OTP in a more conventional manner, where you are where there is a length limit as to how many characters a user can enter. You can even control features like what alphabets you would like the user to, what alphabets you would like a particular user to restrict. Like, for example, I can make it only accept numerical input. I can make it accept only the characters or alphabets. So it is customizable in that way. So I would really recommend you to check out this demo we have here for the React OTP input component. So essentially, it is a very minimal API that we have here. It takes the number of inputs that the OTP should display. If I put 8 here, it would allow me to enter an 8-digit OTP code. For example, I can enter any of the codes here. It even allows you to customize the OTP element a little bit. For example, you have the option to customize what the separators are. So in this case, I have just put a hyphen here. It could be any other thing or any other component that you would like to put in between those digits. Internally, we do not use this separator prop that much. We just have a really minimal input boxes here. Coming back to the quick demo, it has certain props, like if you want to disable the OTP, you can disable the input completely. You can customize the way it looks when an error has occurred. So for example, if I enter an incorrect OTP, it would show me an error. For example, like this. You can customize the way it looks essentially when an error has occurred using this has errored prop right here. And then again, the last and final prop that we have in this API is input num. What essentially it allows you to do is with this you can you can make sure that your users only input digits in this OTP field here. They won't be allowed to put ABCD or any other character here. So only the inputs are allowed in this case. This is really helpful in case you're sending them OTPs for like verifying the login, or after you've reset your password, or in such cases, it would be really helpful to have this prop on. Again, we have a few features that are in development right now that would allow you to customize more of how this works in case this is a secure input and you do not wish for the inputs to be visible directly here. In that case, we would have is input secure prop that would essentially turn this input type to a password so that the digits won't be visible right away. There are also a few accessibility improvements which are coming up, and which would allow even screen readers to basically enhance the way this OTP is read aloud. For example, previously, if you were using a screen reader, it would just have said an input and then it won't have any other data. And with those new improvements, the screen readers would even speak out loud, key, this is our first, enter your verification code in the first input. And once you move on to the next one, it would even speak, this is the second character that you have to enter now. So those improvements are coming as well when it comes to the accessibility front. And that is something that we really look forward to in the next version. And these two issues that I talked about recently were also they were a part of Hacktoberfest. So the accessibility one and also the secure or the type password input feature that is coming up. So those two were also part of the Hacktoberfest contributions so far. And next up, if you want to check out what other issues you can contribute to, or if you have some ideas in mind that you think would enhance React OTP input in certain way, or if you think something is missing, or if you think we could improve the APIs a little bit, you can feel free to open up a new issue here and discuss it right away. We have quite a few open issues here that I regularly check and try to reply to. Like a few of the things that we would really like the component to have would be testing. For example, the OTP input component at the moment does not have any sort of testing, be it unit test or be it snapshot or regression tests. It currently lacks any testing. So this is something that I'm really looking forward to. I believe someone is already working on it, but I really look forward to the implementation and see if we could integrate it straight away, because this is something which would be really helpful to us. As an input component, testing is really important to us because we cannot have the component giving us wrong values, or we cannot have the component crash in certain browsers, for example. So testing is one thing that I am really looking forward to by the end of this Hacktoberfest, and it would be great if this could be, we could incorporate this. One more feature that we think would really improve the quality of project is the documentation. Like the current demo that you see here is just a bare bones vanilla HTML version of the component that we have here. And we were thinking of using something like Docsy for like improving this whole, the way this documentation looks and the way all the props are explained. So if you take a look at this demo right here, it does not explain what each of these props do. So you only have to like turn them, you only have to like toggle them in order to understand what the component is doing, or maybe get hints from the name itself. So the Docsy documentation that we have here would allow us to even have, for example, a description of the props here. So that is something which would be really helpful in case someone new is taking a look at the component and wants to understand what each of those props do. So yeah, then again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a new feature that you are adding to the component right here. As a part of Hacktoberfest, it could even be like documentation improvements. But then keep in mind that it has to be also improving the quality of the project that we have, and not just, not just changing a few styles here and there, because those really do not add much value to the project. If it is something like improving the documentation by ensuring that you are listing what each feature does, or what each prop does, or maybe even like explain a bit of philosophy of what the component is all about and the motivation behind it, I think that would be really good. Yeah, that's mostly it for this demo right here. If you look at the code base, we have a really minimal source here. You would find it inside the lib and index.jsx. So this is essentially the source of the component. We have, I believe, two classes here. So one is the parent and the other one is the input, which would be the children. So single OTP input that you see here is exactly this one individual OTP input box. So what the parent does is that it manages the props that you give to it. For example, if you tell the parent that you need to render 4 OTPs, the parent would exactly do that. It would go ahead and render out 4 OTPs. In this case, we have 8, so the parent would help you like render all these 8 inputs. So I would definitely recommend you to go check this out. If you have any doubts, just feel free to ask any questions related to it. If you are someone who is really familiar with React and have been following React's development, you also know about React hooks. And that is something we look forward to incorporating in our project as well. Right now, if you see that we only have like class-based components, and I believe we have one issue here right now for React and OTP input, which refactors these class-based components into React hooks. So that is another quality of life improvement for the project itself. Then again, that feature or that refactor is a big one. So I will be looking forward to like carefully testing it and then incorporating it hopefully in the project once we get a green signal from the testing end as well. The second part of this OTP input project is the documentation itself. So if you go to src and then demo, the demo library, the demo directory here, you would be able to find out the source for this demo site, which is here. Then again, I won't recommend you to go ahead and do a lot of improvements to the demo, and because like I previously mentioned that we would be trying out how Docsy works for demo, and it is very minimal at the moment. It does not have much written about the React OTP input. I believe someone is working on that end. So if you could collaborate there with somebody, there is a great chance to improve the documentation or improve the way we have the demo site here. You would also be able to find a checklist for things that we look to take forward in React OTP input right here in the checklist section of the README. So for example, we have things like code coverage, and we might also have a few improvements coming from the tooling end. But this is something that I'm also working on at the moment, so hopefully we can ship this out soon. Writing tests is, like I mentioned previously, is one of the priorities, and also like improving the documentation or working more on the docsy front for it. So yeah, that's mostly it about this demo. I'll let Prateek speak more about the next repo that we have for Hacktoberfest.
Okay. So, yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, it.
Okay, so the next repo we have here is a Chrome extension called Scroll In. So I got the idea of this extension while reading this article by Dan Abramov, React as a UI runtime, which is a great article. If you're into React, you should definitely read it. So it is a really, really long article, and I wasn't able to finish it in one go, and I like always had to find like where I left it. So I thought like there should be a Chrome extension for this, but I couldn't find any proper working Chrome extension. So I decided on creating one my own and then open sourcing it. So so then I ended up creating this extension called Scroll In. So what it basically does is it just, for example, I have read till here. I can save the scroll position, and then the icon turns blue and the scroll position is saved. Now, next time, whenever I open this tab or open this article again, I can just click it and click on fetch scroll, and it will bring me back to where I last left. I can also then update or delete the scroll accordingly. Also, I can find all the save scroll, all the scrolls I have saved for any website here in the settings page, and I can just go exactly where I left. It automatically loads the scroll position on page load itself. You can find it on Chrome Web Store. The link is available in the README. It is published on Chrome Web Store. Uh, so basically, it's just pure under the hood. It just uses Chrome's local storage API and some window APIs to to find the scroll position and save it in Chrome's local storage. So you can check out the documentation. We have like pretty much uh, we have noted down pretty much everything related to how it works. Okay, so some things that we have in work right now are like we got some requests from users for ability to save multiple scrolls. So this is one thing we want to be able to ship by this Hacktoberfest. I'm not sure like if people are actually working on it, so this is a good start. And next is so under the hood, like as I said, we have like these the save, get, and delete functionality is split across four files. Namely, like if you want to find save, you can just go to save.js, and as you can see, we are just like uh, getting the page offset and then saving it into the Chrome local storage. And similarly, we have get and update, which read the data from the storage and then just use the Windows scroll to API. to scroll to that particular position. So yeah, that's basically it. Uh, some of the things that I want to ship by this Hacktoberfest is the one thing that I mentioned, that ability to save multiple scrolls, and then there are like testing. We don't have any kind of testing in this project right now, but we can add testing. And yeah, that's basically it. Or to contribute to this extension, all you need to understand is the basic JavaScript DOM APIs, and maybe a little bit of Chrome extension, a little bit related to Chrome extensions, because we are just like, this extension just uses Chrome's local storage API, which is very similar to the browser's local storage API. It's just that it's for the extension. Other than that, it's like any website or any uh, JavaScript project that you might have worked on.
Pratik, you might plug the article that you wrote on building Chrome extensions.
Yeah, yeah. I also add that I actually wrote one article as well. So yeah, that's basically it for the extension. So next, Abhishek, Abhishek sir will introduce
Yes.
another repo.
You might as well plug the article which you wrote on building Chrome extensions. I think that would be really helpful to beginners who are starting up with it.
Yeah,
Yes. Maybe you can leave it in the chat here. That would be helpful.
yeah, I'll add it.
All right. Okay, so next repo is again a React-based project that we have, and it is, and just give me a minute. It is a Gatsby boilerplate. If you are unfamiliar with React, I'm not sure if you might have come across this term Gatsby, but Gatsby is a framework which is built with React, and what essentially it allows you to do is that it adds some nice features on top of React. So React already gives you a very nice state-based model to build your UIs. And what Gatsby does is that it addresses some of the fronts on which React lags behind, or you might say that it lags behind or it is not very good at it. For example, SEO or data fetching and stuff like that. You can go to gatsbyjs.com and you'll be able to find more about what Gatsby does or what improvements Gatsby adds on top of React here. The I think the most liked feature for Gatsby is essentially its capability to emit out static HTML pages. For example, you could have a code base in React, but what Gatsby would do is that it would emit out, static exports for you. Even if you're like fetching data from some other endpoint, you would be able to like create a static HTML page for your website or for your web app. And where this thing helps you is in the SEO front, obviously, where crawlers would be able to, find your website or find your web pages more easily than compared to a single paged application like React. So yeah, it is definitely a great project. You should go ahead and check it out. It is also built on GraphQL, so that is one new thing which you would have to like get up to speed to in case you wish to like start contributing to this project that we have here. Again, we've mentioned the SEO point here as well, that we have a nice little component here that allows us to like modify all the meta tags and modify all the descriptions according to the requirements. I would like to point out a few issues here, which would be something really significant and nice to have. One of them would be obviously dark mode. We lack a dark mode support here for the Gatsby starter that we have. We do not have a dark mode support right now at the moment for this. And there are a few optimizations coming on the way as well. So for example, someone is already working on lazy loading the images that we have in the gallery and the schedule section and the sponsor section right here. Yeah, apart from that, I think tooling improvements, auto deploys is also something that you could work on for this. And yes, this is sort of like an open-ended project. So if you have a really great idea in mind that you would like to add, I would just encourage you to open up an issue here and hopefully discuss ahead, and we would try to ship with it if it is something that we would really like to have. For example, I think the schedule section could really use some improvements here. Like it is not very practical at the moment. It does not have any feature that allows me to, for example, tag any items in the schedule. It does not allow me to, then filter based on that particular schedule item. It also currently does not have any description about the author. For example, if I have a talk on any one of these days, it does not display my name, or it does not allow me to, sort or filter based on the tags itself. So there are individual parts of this starter that you could go ahead and improve if you wish to, take on this one. If you're new to React, if you're new to Gatsby, then I would certainly recommend you to take this one over the previous component that I showed you, because this would help you to freely experiment with a lot of things here, be it GraphQL, be it the new React APIs. So this is a perfect project if you are like just getting started with web development. I would greatly encourage you to give this a look and go through the code base and suggest improvements, or just feel free to like play with the project itself. Yeah, that is mostly it. If I missed anything respect to this project, just let me know in the comments here. Prateek, I'll let you speak on the next component.
So the last repo we have here is also a React component called React Copy Mailto. So uh, I hope you guys must know what a Mailto link is. Like whenever you must have seen in sites, whenever there's an email and you click on the email, it which has a Mailto link, it directly opens the email client or whatever uh, on whatever OS you are operating system you are. Like in Windows, it opens the Mail app, and on Mac, it also opens the Mac Mac Mail app. But you don't generally use that. So uh, the thing we want maybe is to copy the email. So that's why we created this component, and like we are using it on some pages of Devfolio. Like if you check out the privacy policy, you can clicking on this email copies it to clipboard, and now you can just like paste it here instead of uh, instead of it opening the mail app. uh, some more pages like you can check it out is it's also on the about page. Like it's completely customizable. You don't need to have what do we say only a email. You can also have it uh, on icons or anything. So that's basically what the component is right now. But we also want to add like an API for hooks so that we can use it directly. Currently, how it works is it can either take an email, uh, then it would just render this simple output that is available in the demo. This is just the basic. This is the most simple implementation of this component. And then you can also pass children prop. You can also add children to whatever you want to render. For example, on the about page we have this mail icon. So we have what we have done here is just pass this mail icon as the children, and it works. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. You can find the code for it in the lib folder. The structure is very similar to what you saw in the React OTP input library. It's just that this component is written in TypeScript. So yeah, that's one thing. So we are just using a simple copy mail to component, a simple hook, a simple component with using React hooks, and yeah, that's basically it. We also want to add one custom hook that would allow a user to just use the copy function directly and show the copy mail to or any custom string that the user want to show. So that's basically it. The things that we uh, we are working on right now is like adding some props to customize it. For example, adding a light mode. Currently, the tooltip has no. It is the styles are customizable, but it does not have any predefined mode. So a light mode and dark mode, and then we also need to have uh, a prop for positioning. Currently, it only shows up above the email. Some of the props, like we only have in very few basic props right now, like the children, which is the email to be copied, and the email, which is the obviously the email to be copied, and then the children. As I mentioned, we can pass anything to it what we want to render, and then there's the default tooltip, which is like copy email address, and the copy tooltip, which is shown once the email is copied to clipboard. And then there's the container style, the which is the container style of the anchor component, and then tooltip style and the anchor style. Yeah. So that's basically it. You can check out the issues. Some people have opened like really good issues for some bugs, etc. And we also need a demo, a proper demo, because this is a very simple demo with similar to what we saw for React copy mail too. Like the props can be customized in the demo itself. And also, like if you have any suggestions, then feel free to open an issue or open a PR, because we are like open to suggestions on what can be improved for this. Yeah, so that's it from my side.
Prateek, I think Romal is asking you what the custom hook does, or what you mean by custom hook. I believe you should be.
Yeah, so so what I basically mean by a custom hook is that currently we need to use this component like this. I actually want let me show you. What I actually want is that I have a custom hook like this. Use copy mail to, which returns a function like can be anything like copy mail to, and it it would this, and I can pass this function to like anything, to a button or anything, which will be called whenever I want to copy the email. So for example, I can pass it to a button, and then when that button is clicked, the email will be copied. So that's what I want. And we can also add like more props, like for the message, like that times out after every 1 second. Like the email is copied to clipboard. We can also add something like for that. That's what I mean by a custom hook implementation for this.
All right, Romal, hopefully that answers your questions. If you want to know a bit more about it in detail, I would like really encourage you to hopefully comment on the issue itself, or maybe create a new issue if you do not already have it. And to address your second query, if some issue has already got people working on, should you like open up a new PR for it? No, I think if someone is already working on it, if and if
Can like if it's not
yes,
active, then you can open it because generally like people forget or leave the PRs in between.
hmm.
It has happened a lot.
Yeah, if that issue is assigned to a particular someone, that is a good indicator that it is already in progress. In that case, you might want to like um, clear it up with the collaborator itself or the assignee itself, whether or not he's actively working on it. Um, if an issue is not assigned to someone else, then definitely you can just tag the maintainers there, and we would be like assigning that particular issue to you. That is also easier for us to know if a particular issue is taken up already, or if someone is not working on it. All right. Yeah, let us know if you have got any other questions related to the component itself, or maybe if you have an idea or a feature to implement, feel free to ask about it in the chat. Great. Looks like we do not have any of the queries left. Hopefully, we've covered all your questions and any doubts that you might have related to the components. Or all right. In that case, we'll just end the meet here. It was really nice chatting with you guys. Hopefully, you guys are having a great time building and contributing to Hacktoberfest, and getting a taste of what it is like to develop for open source. So yes, that's it. Prateek, any closing remarks from your side?
No, nothing. Yeah, just like feel free to open any issue, like any suggestion you want, or anything you think that these components or these libraries can be improved. Then feel free to open.
Yes. If you're already waiting for a maintainer to reply to one of your comments in the issue, then yeah, we will definitely get to your issue and address your queries there. We have quite a large volume of issues right here and PRs right here to go through. So definitely it would take a little bit longer for us to go through all of them, but definitely we'll go through each of them and try to reply to all of those valid comments that you might have.
Okay, so Romal is asking a question. Yeah, like I am not sure like if the issue is open for it right now, but you can go ahead and open the issue and I will assign it to you. Okay.
Awesome. All right, so that wraps up our, yes, it will be available. It will be available on YouTube shortly. I think we'll be having announcements on Telegram as well as Twitter once we have
Twitter.
it up on YouTube.